ServiceNow's back-end agentic AI and automation capabilities with a natural language front-end interface that is designed for employee engagement and possibly even customer engagement signifies that AI is spreading out across the enterprise. So I think this is a great move by ServiceNow instead of trying to build it.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our #1 priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
Good morning, good afternoon around the world. This is Robert Kramer with more insights and strategy. Welcome to Analysts Gone Wild. I think we're in the second quarter of the year, gents, and wow, it's going by quick. But we got a great team. We have some really nice things to talk about today. We have Thomas and John and Sam. I think we're located all across the world. So let's talk about where we're at today and jump into some stories. I'm actually in Virginia Beach today, and it's about 70-ish, and I'm kind of excited about that. But let's start with Thomas. Where you at and what's going on?
Well, Thomas, what's going on? So it's not 70-ish here. If I look outside, the roof next door still has ice on it. So the night was chilly in the area of Seattle.
Okay, well,
that's the opposite. I mean, we have sun here. We don't have any ice.
Yeah, well, it looks sunny too, but
John,
from what I can see across the halfway drawn blinds.
Yeah, hey, John Santaferraro here, CEO of Ferraro Consulting, 30 years in the data analytics and now AI industry. And it's another beautiful day in Tuscany. That's how I wake up every morning. I woke up the same today, and glad to be here with you guys.
I'm officially jealous.
Who would be? So you have to tell us what you had for dinner last night, because we can kind of, be a little jealous of how nice it is. And hopefully it was some very good Italian. Anyway, Sam.
But no. Wait, now you said food, right? And I'm Italian, so I have to speak. I had spaghetti arrabbiata.
Okay.
It's a wonderful spicy pasta from the south of Italy, and it was absolutely fantastic.
Did you have a nice wine with that, or what would you?
I had just a basic Tuscan red, just a table wine, and it's as good as probably a $20 bottle of wine in the United States.
I mean, I think you could twist my arm. Sam, can we have an episode over there?
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
All right, Sam, introduce yourself, and then we get started with the first story.
Yeah, and the way John talks about his food, it almost seems like it has some sort of a Spanish flavor. It sounds very yummy. So thank you so much, John, for that. Hey, everyone, Sam Gupta, Elevate IQ. Roughly 20 years in the space covering enterprise software. And here I'm in Toronto. It's very sunny. We don't have any ice, and it's very lucky that we have sun in April. Robert, over to you.
Great. Well, let's get started with our first story. And I think we're going to begin with ServiceNow acquiring Moveworks. And this is, I would think, a pretty smart and strategic move. ServiceNow's made a play for AI first vision, and Moveworks is known for a conversational AI platform, and it's pretty matured at this point. But let's get everybody's thoughts as we weigh in. I think this is a pretty significant story because of the fact that ServiceNow is talking about AI first with the enterprises, and I think this plays along with that. But who wants to?
I'll jump in. I mean, I think a couple of things come to my mind. One, we are pretty rapidly seeing the expansion of AI across the enterprise through basically some kind of a front-end application and a back-end AI application. So this combination of ServiceNow's back-end agentic AI and automation capabilities with a natural language front-end interface that is designed for employee engagement and possibly even customer engagement signifies that AI is spreading out across the enterprise. So I think this is a great move by ServiceNow. Instead of trying to build it themselves, Moveworks has especially good adoption among their customer base. At least their claim is that 90% of their customers have really deep, expansive usage of their AI interface. I think that's impressive.
And what do you think, Thomas, from a user perspective? How does this enhance things?
Well, from a user perspective, people want to interact in a natural way with their systems. So ultimately we want to speak with our systems, which is probably still a few years away, not ago, but away. And this is a step into it. And it ties all into the strategy that the ServiceNow CS, my God, I didn't have enough coffee yet. CEO already did it back at SAP. Don't make it, buy it, and move fast. And in the current state of the industry, moving fast, I think, is quite paramount.
Yeah.
Buy it and think of it, how to integrate it later. This kind of the strategy there.
And Sam, don't you think this helps their competitive position against Microsoft or Salesforce or Workday, or what do you think?
Yeah, so this is a very interesting acquisition. And I know that, and Thomas, I think you know this, right? That they are moving towards, CRM. And obviously, this is more of the technical acquisition in my mind. Obviously, they are trying to acquire rather than building it. I don't know why they could not do similar things if, let's say, either Salesforce or Microsoft. I guess they are trying to develop this, but ServiceNow is trying to acquire. But I don't know where exactly would this help more from the workflow perspective. I know in general, when you are talking about workflows like ServiceNow, they could come across as more of the spaghetti. What is that? Arrabbiata? Did I do that right, John? The technology could be all over the place. From the footprint perspective, and that's where I guess you would need some sort of enterprise search technology. But my understanding was that AI assistants by themselves were capable of that. So I'm not too sure, how this particular technology is going to help, and and how that is going to fit inside ServiceNow tech stack, I guess.
Look at it from several angles. John already said it. They have an amazing customer base, amazing retention rate. So buy the customers, buy the technologies, and thereby make your own stuff more flexible. So means the ServiceNow essentially is a workflow company. Workflows traditionally are something that is quite rigid. And I doubt that even with their scale, well, their limited scale that they actually still have, they can build the flexibilization that needs to be in workflows these days themselves that fast. So yes, it's a tuck in, but it's an important piece of technology that they just don't have.
Right.
And a bunch of good customers. So that's perfectly meaningful.
One of the challenges that I'm seeing with acquisitions of AI companies is the ability to actually integrate them. And what most application companies are doing is they're integrating at the LLM level. And so they're really connecting at the human interface. What they need is true agentic orchestration, which is allowing each AI component to operate in an agentic fashion, to be autonomous, and then to be able to collaborate with other agents. That doesn't happen at the LLM level. And so I think for customers, ServiceNow customers, Moveworks customers, be looking for that integration. And I think it's up to the customers and the market to push these companies to do that deeper kind of integration for greater AI capabilities going forward.
Good point. Okay, should we move on to the next one, or any closing thoughts, Sam?
Yeah, let's move on to the next one, I guess. Okay, so do you want to do brief, Robert?
Yep. So Zoho. So I think we're all somewhat familiar with them. They have a new application, which is Project Plus, designed to enhance collaboration, project visibility, and control. So what this is really doing is taking 4 apps and putting it together into a platform for mostly planning, tracking, client collaboration. I'm not seeing this as that big of a deal. I think it's important for development of this type of a thing, but I guess it's focused on more enterprises as they are looking to get into more of the enterprise market and to have a platform for that. But why don't we kind of go around and see what everybody thinks?
Yeah, so I can provide some more context on this one. Overall, from the market perspective, if you look at the project management market right now, it's being substantially disrupted because of the likes of, Airtables of the world, Smartsheet, Monday.com. They all are disrupting this market. And for the most part, the reason why they are so powerful is because of their collaboration capabilities. The traditional project management software, for example, you look at the likes of Asanas of the world. Atlassian was the company that is probably being disrupted for most of these cases. Zoho is sort of in between because they provide apps pretty much for everything, I guess. And they are trying to go to enterprise, right? That's their goal. But if you look at the architecture of the project management, the way it is built, it's very traditional. So they cannot do collaboration like workflow the way the newer players can do. There are some benefits to collaboration like workflows, but that does not scale. When you talk about the data integrity, when you talk about the at least some level of financial integrity inside your project. And then you also have another variable, which is called your agile versus your waterfall. So Zoho had 2 different products. I'm pretty sure Thomas probably knows about it, right?
I wrote a report on it.
Yes, and those 2 apps are slightly disjointed. I mean, that's how Zoho's built. Yeah. And now they are sort of trying to bring it together. So that's where the Zoho Plus is coming from. But I don't know. I mean, the way their design is, their design was more positioned towards smaller companies. If you are going to connect them, then that becomes ERP. Everybody starts hitting. And that doesn't work in the industry where Zoho's playing. So it's more of the design constraint, and hopefully Project Plus, it's sort of trying to bring all of these together, trying to compete with likes of, I would say ClickUp is probably one of the vendors which is very hot at this point of time. And they are trying to do a lot of these things. So they need to compete with them. And then there are other players. So that's the context. And that's why this is there. But it's a very interesting move because, Zoho definitely had to do this.
It's not a new product. It's just a bundle, to correct Robert there, just in quotes. It's a smart bundle, although I'd say Click is missing in there from a collaboration point of view. This is nothing that sort of addresses or competes with the Airtables of this planet, because they have a totally different scope. So they are well below in the well lower in the SMB market than this bundle is addressed to. So that they have very, very big Zohos, very big names on there, and they are actually more competing with the likes of Microsoft there. They replaced a couple of Microsoft customers.
Does this help them in the enterprise market? I guess is what my point was. Is this big news, or is this just saying that we have something for the enterprise market, which is an enormous leap for them to be at with their ERP software? Isn't there yet. I know they want to get there, and it's exciting that they want to. But those companies that are at the enterprise level, are they going to use this?
Well, it's not big news. This is something that is highly competitive in the project management market, highly competitive.
Yep.
But then Well, it's good news from a positioning point of view, from a credibility point of view for this vendor that still is a fairly well-kept secret, although they are working hard on changing that. But they are building their enterprise chops with it. Pretty much.
I would say that this is something that Zoho had to do. So
Yep.
they didn't have any choice, because you can't have, I mean, in today's market, to have project management of some kind that isn't directly connected to the data and the analytics and the intelligence doesn't even work. So this is a catch-up move by them. And so the question becomes then, how deeply will they integrate this? How AI driven will that intelligence be? What kind of automation will they bring once a project plan is in place? So I think it remains to be seen. And I look at this as a step one. Okay, so you did this. Now come back to us in 3 months or 6 months and show us how you're deepening that integration and what kind of template work you're doing on top of that to be able to enable specific vertical markets and things like that. I think it's the right direction. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, so I'll make one comment. I guess the reality of the market, John, is when you look at the likes of these 2 or 3, and I'll talk about the SMB versus enterprise as well. What they have done is they have completely decoupled the financial estate from the project management. In fact, more decoupled than how the traditional project management software were built. And what that does is it makes it easy for companies to adopt. You don't have to spend $50,000, $100,000, or maybe $1 million for these implementations. And that's why you are going to see Zoho, you are going to see Smartsheet, you are going to see Airtable, across the enterprises. And the reason why you are seeing them inside enterprises is not that they are building their operational fabric on this. Okay, but you are going to have other departments. For example, marketing department has their own project management. HR has their own project management. You might have a little construction department inside a manufacturing company. They might have their own project management, and they are not necessarily part of the core operations. So where ERP fits in is going to be the core operations, where you are delivering your products and services. But then you have other areas as well. So how do you manage those? And that's where all of these products are sort of fitting in. So everybody sort of has a place, as long as they know where they want to sort of swim.
Yeah, that makes sense. So any closing comments on this? And then, or how does this help them? I guess one question I might have, how do you think this helps them propel into the enterprise market, or does it not? I know you kind of covered that, all of you, but is this like, John, you said this is something they had to do no matter what, but does this show that they're there, or just show that they have a few types of solutions that help the enterprise companies, or both?
Yeah, from my perspective, show me what's under the covers, and if I was a customer or if I was in a briefing right now, I would ask to see their metadata, because that at the metadata layer is where these things are either connected or not. And if they have made that level of integration at this point, then they could be there and ready to build on top of it. If not, they've got some more work to do. But it certainly isn't clear in the release and in the supporting materials how far they've taken this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess, Robert, the comment varies based on the industries, I would say. So when you talk about whether they have the enterprise capabilities or not, if you look at companies like us or the professional services firm, marketing agencies, tech, for them, this could be enterprise, because traditionally they were never consolidated from their architecture perspective. They don't need to have their project management connected to accounting, because that's how they operate. Even if they are going to be like $200 million or $1 billion, they can still operate that way. But that's not going to work for manufacturing. Construction would require some sort of financials as well, because their projects are different. But as companies grow, then they would probably require a lot more financials embedded as part of their operational workflow. But again, this varies based on the industries, I would say. So in some industries, it could be enterprise, and
which pretty much is there based on this, just based on the software stack, which is unique and unified. And from I don't know whether they are still under NDA, but they have brands there that are big with a capital B. So it clearly works, and these are not departmental implementations or deployments. They are partly across various departments. I mean, they are building freaking big machines using projects. So the projects, not the small scale version, which is sprints, which is part of that bundle. And some of these customers are using both actually, because some departments just don't need a system that is as powerful as projects. So the strength lies in the bridging of big to small, which not many can really do.
I mean, if you want to work your way backwards, you want to get customers to move to the enterprise customers to move to enterprise, right? So does this do it? I would say no.
No, it doesn't do it. It's part of it.
Don't you want that to happen? So why not have other releases of software to bridge that gap a bit more? I know they're working on it, and I know it's stated here, but I'm still, Sam, you might know one is the full release of some of these systems that focus on, like you said, manufacturing or construction or things of that nature.
Yeah, so if you talk about enterprise, I would say, if you go to, again, software development firm, these guys could be used in the enterprise and there is not going to be any problem because your procurement and MRP, etc., does not need to be connected with your project management. So Thomas, to your example, whether they are building big machines using these projects, if they are doing that, they must be either relatively small or must be super inefficient because to be able to build a machine or manufacture, you do need to connect your financial data and procurement, and depending upon whether you are MRP driven or not. If you are not, then you probably don't have to worry about it. Somehow you have profit margins and you are able to survive. Good luck with that.
I don't know how inefficient they are. Some of the companies are world leading. Simple as. So they must have been very inefficient before then. So, and I agree, it's all about, a lot of it is about integration. The finance integration basically is there. From an ERP point of view, Zoho itself isn't yet there.
That's what I was talking about more. Yeah. When are they going to have the features, the ERP features for enterprise versus just connecting to another system? So anyway, it sounds like they're going to get there, and I'm pretty.
They're working hard on it. Yeah,
I know they are. They have some good features and some great clients and a good story. So why don't we go to the next one? Do we have any questions we want to tackle real quick before we do that?
So let's go over them. I think there was one related to the previous slide, so we should have probably gone at that time. So Anders, welcome. Anders is saying, do you think that AI in the front end could reduce training time for new users? I would say if this is a generic question, yes, big time. It's also going to reduce the implementation time. But I don't know. I think this question is more related to Moveworks. But I'm not too sure about that technology, how that fits in. But if this is a generic question, then yes. More comments?
Well, we know it meanwhile.
Okay. Sorry, Thomas, go, please.
We know it meanwhile. I mean, just look at a bunch of these success stories across vendors. One of the core topics that pops up everywhere is reduced onboarding time.
Yeah.
And what is onboarding is mainly about learning.
Yeah, I think every major software vendor has definitely put their manuals and all of the information necessary to operate the software into a language model. I don't. Anybody that is anybody has done that already. So that is definitely a big push forward.
Only if you had manual, I guess, inside your software, or maybe you can use generative AI to generate that manual now, because developers, they never like to document, I guess.
Which is different from the manual, but but you are right. I don't know any developer who likes documentation. Well, they like to have it, but they don't like to write it.
Yep.
We got one more question.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so Leonard is saying not only training time, but it can keep calls and presentations on a cadence. Instead of stopping to ask a manager, they can ask in real time with regular language. Yes, there is a term for that, and get the answer right away. And yes, on training. Comments?
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see a good AI moderator, which is how I would interpret keeping calls and presentations on a cadence.
Yeah. Okay, so one more comment. I wonder if Project Plus is an upcharge. I mean, there's always going to be upcharge.
No,
Come on, you
no,
don't
it's
get that for
not.
free.
No, it's not.
Is it free? Is that what you're saying?
The project. Well, it's a bunch of sorry, John. It's a bunch of products, and if you buy them individually, you pay more. So it's the bundle itself is cheaper than the individual products.
So just to be clear, Thomas, so you are saying that this is part of Zoho One, I guess. Zoho One has one pricing for everything.
Well, they are all contained in Zoho One.
Yeah.
But this is a different bundle. It's like CRM Plus, which is a subset of Zoho One as well. So Project Plus has essentially 4 products. And these 4 products, if you combine them individually or subscribe to them individually, you pay more than for Project Plus. So it's not an upcharge.
So they actually had this listed pricing and availability. So Project Plus is priced at $16 per user per month, which is 27% lower than combining project sprints, work drive, and analytics a la carte.
Yeah.
So that's how they're pricing it.
And if that isn't well, it's competitive on a capability level. Not perfect. I agree with you, John. And pricing wise, I mean the projects of Microsoft projects of this world can't get anywhere close. Simple as.
Yeah, great points, guys. So we don't have any more comments, and I don't know, Robert, if you want to go to the next story now.
Yeah, let's talk about Accenture.
Okay.
So Accenture expands their AI refinery, but I think they also launched new industry agent solutions. So just a question for you guys: does this give them a unique data advantage? Does this help with their overall expansion for their AI program? Does this help with specifics for different industries? And how does it position them against their competitors? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm always a little bit weary when a consulting company comes out with what they're calling a product, because their business is consulting. So what it should do, if they built it right, it should create more opportunity for them to sell more services. They're not motivated to build products except so that they can sell their services. So I get weary when I see them talking about products and even begin to wonder, what do you mean by product, right? It's how much is productized? What exactly is it? That's why it's interesting that, as an industry analyst that covers the data and analytics and AI space, I don't get briefed by Accenture. I don't get briefed by the major consulting companies, because they know the minute that they walk into us, we're gonna look at what they've had and say, well, where's the product, and what about how much services are required? Well, okay, well, it requires 50% cost of software or 30% software, 70% services. What is it? So I'm a little leery of announcements by consulting companies.
This is basically a jump back on what a tiny little, well, I have a flashback, a tiny little consulting company called Kiefer and Feitinger, which nobody in this room will know except me, because I work for them. We could have done a similar announcement back then, because what did we have? We had a development environment that allowed us to build or to sell our services easier. And this is what this is. This is basically 2 things. One is a me too, hey, I can do this. And the other thing is the realization that expensive services are no more really wanted. So you need to get into a faster time to value, and from a client point of view and from a vendor point of view or from a consulting point of view, you still want to retain your growth margin because their partners want they get their freaking bonus. Yeah? And owners want to have their payback as well. So you need to retain your margins. That's why you need to get into some productized services. Means have your clients pay for the IP while selling less brains. I don't want to say bodies, less brains. Yeah, I mean, what this was consulting basically is, right? You sell the brain, not the body. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of money in this industry for consulting. So I think that, when you look at who they're, Accenture and IBM Consulting and KPMG and EY and, Price Waterhouse. So, I mean, there's a lot going on here. So do you think this is necessary to broadcast this? Sam, you're pretty extensively in this transformation industry. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's interesting, and I'm gonna have to agree with John, to be completely honest. Based on his perception of where this is headed, and I am going to talk about tiny consulting company called IBM that you may not have heard of, I guess. IBM had a very similar model. I mean, they still have a lot of products, but technically, I mean, they were always a consulting company. That's their main strength. They used to do a lot of R&D, but they could never be a real product company, I guess. And that's the challenge when you try to do consulting plus product. I mean, they are sort of connected to the hip, but consulting companies, they don't do well overall from the product perspective.
But they need to get better.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, it's a business model. So you need to choose your lane. Okay, are you a consulting or are you a product company? Okay,
what you need to have is products that support your consulting. I don't know who did that. I need to dig that out. So he analyzed the four big Indian. No, not the five, not the four big Indian, the five biggest consulting companies on this planet in a revenue per capita point of view over the past 10 years or 15 years. It's all going down. And this is what their owners surely are not happy with.
Don't you think this is all about the customer, though? Like, does this help the customer get over the change management fear factor issues? I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get success.
No, this is about saving their revenues. Simple as.
They're trying to have the AI agents from a transformation standpoint. Is there any business impact there? I guess that's
the business impact probably would be just acceleration of the project, right? I mean, if they're, which does make sense to me. So if you have 100 customers that are all trying to build the same solution and you've already done it for 10, you can do it a lot faster for the next 40, and you therefore create an AI agent, because you can call anything an AI agent today, and nobody knows what it is. Nobody seems to care what it is, and it will sell, right? So it's a marketing piece, but it is probably an accelerator. To call it a software, and I guess they don't come out and call it a software product, but they're trying to pitch it as if it is one.
Yeah, it's productized consulting.
It's the technical term for that is called IP, and that's how most consulting companies are built. They have to have some sort of IP, otherwise it becomes very difficult for them to be able to survive. And Thomas, I don't know, to your point, where is that comment coming from in terms of per capita revenue? I don't know whether that is pre-Doge or post-Doge, because Doge has actually killed a lot of revenue for these companies, but pre-Doge.
No, it's a trend that happens in the past 20 years, basically. So I'll dig it out.
I will tell you this, okay? 90% of the consulting companies are doing really, really, really well. 90% of them. The larger ones are doing amazingly well. There's no problem at all overall from their revenue perspective. And the reason
I'd say per capita, not overall. Overall, they are growing more or less fast or slow, depending on how you want to look at it. Per capita, per person, per employee, their revenues are going down, most of them.
So I'm not too sure about that, and
I'll dig out the stats.
yeah, and I don't know why they would keep so many employees. Maybe they are building benches, and that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Not too sure about that. But overall, what the comment that I will make, I mean, personally, I like this, to be completely honest. And the reason why I like this is because there are layers to what they are doing. So number one, when you look at this more from the deal politics perspective, and that is always there. 90% of the consulting companies are consulting on the software products, enterprise software products. Okay. So when you talk about Microsofts of the world, SAP, Oracle of the world, they are able to sell because of these consulting companies. But generally, the fight always is who controls the deal. Is it going to be the consulting company or is it going to be the product company? Now, if the consulting company has an IP, they sort of have the command over the customer because nobody else is going to have the same IP. In fact, if you look at generalized products such as your SAP, Oracle, 90% of these companies are building industry-specific IP on top of the product, and that's how these guys are able to sort of differentiate and survive in this market. So now for AI agents, when you look at the industry deep capabilities, now product companies, they can argue whole day that they understand industries. They don't. They just don't. Okay, they don't spend so much time with the customers. Consultants do, consulting companies do. They have far deeper understanding of the industry. Now, if you talk about the AI agents that product companies are going to build, are they going to be exciting? Are they going to be relevant from the industry perspective? Questionable. Okay, they are not going to have that. So where are you going to get that industry flavor? These guys are going to do that. So that's where I like this. But then again, in my mind, I like to see clear separation in terms of, who's going to do what. If these guys are going to build technical platforms the way product companies are going to do, then product companies will become consulting companies as well. So then everybody's all over the place.
Well, I will say the one advantage that that consulting companies have is that they do have an amazing knowledge base. So you think of the years of implementations, the industry knowledge, all of that in a large consulting company usually exists in a knowledge base. And for the first time in my lifetime, generative AI makes all of that accessible. So I do like the fact that as they're building this agent builder, they don't come out and say it again, but my guess is some of their IP is not just the building of the agent builder platform and the agent factory that they've built, but it's in adding their knowledge base to that. And then I did notice as well that they have created a number of what I would call shared agents, right? So they have a critical thinker that can be used across solutions. They have an author that can be used across solutions, an analyst that can analyze data, a researcher that can go through the knowledge base and find the things that they need. And all of that gets pumped up into a strategic advisor. So I think one of the shifts that I'm seeing in the overall use of generative AI and AI agents is this shift to basically leaders having a strategic partner of some kind, a thought partner, a strategic partner that comes alongside of them, and they don't have access to all of this information. But as they're creating something new, as they're shifting strategy, as they're making decisions, as they're envisioning the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, they have this thought partner. So from that standpoint, that kind of solution is extremely valuable.
Yeah, I think it's valuable in certain industries too. If you have some of those things preset, like you mentioned, as far as the agents, John, I think that gives some specifics, leverage for like finance or healthcare, things of that nature.
Absolutely.
Sam, any closing thoughts before we jump on to the next one?
Found the stats if you want to show them.
I don't know.
Accenture is prominently named there. Revenue per interview per employee change between 2010 and 2024 of Accenture is minus 13%. Doesn't say they have a growth of revenue. They have a growth of revenue of 196% in that same time. So this is about becoming more profitable again.
Yeah, and they are making others efficient. First, they have to figure out, I guess, how to be efficient themselves.
Yeah. And productized services are a very good way for that.
Yeah.
I think we actually have a question. I don't know if you want to jump into that, Sam.
Let's do that. So 1 second.
Wait, there's an audience with a question.
Yeah.
we are doing well.
Okay, so I think Leonard is saying it's a good offer that businesses can construct AI agents without coding. And I think most consumers and business decision makers need predetermined options. Instead of starting from scratch, they can always modify it later. The analysis paralysis would kill or delay the sale.
It's not only a good way, it's the way. Because I mean, a bit earlier we talked no code, right? Not a bit earlier in this session, but in general, a few years ago we talked no code and the citizen developer, democratization of software development. This is a trend that is irreversible. Yeah, so you need to be able to offer, as a vendor as well as a consultant, you need to be able to offer your clients to start fast. That's without coding, simple as. Give it into the hands of the people who actually need it while providing guardrails, because else you see another Lotus Notes graveyard.
Yeah.
Okay, if we don't have more comments, then he has one more comment. He's saying probably if you use Accenture's AI agents, they will stay in their, you will stay in their ecosystem, and that's the whole game. And Leonard knows it.
It's not about the agents themselves, it's about the development environment.
And sometimes customers don't know about it because they need to understand that. So, Robert, if you talk this more purely from the customer's perspective, is when you go to a consulting company, you are most likely going to get their IP if they have any sort of affiliation with the vendors, and they are going to create much tighter log than any product in the world, I guess.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go to the next one. Talk a little bit about Acumatica.
Okay.
So, Acumatica, this is they have a new release. Absolutely. They cover the mid-market. I think we're all pretty familiar with them. Competitors are like NetSuite and Epicor and Infor. So is this hype, or do these new features like faster processing, more industry functionality, expanded integrations, do these help? I know they're helpful, but is this hype, or is this marketing, or is this a real business impact, or all the above?
Yeah, so I'll provide some context here. So in general, if you look at Acumatica, it's not just about Acumatica, I guess, the majority of the cloud native products. Robert, they are fairly lean, I would say, in their capabilities, functionally speaking. If you look at slightly legacy products, they are deployed on cloud as well. It's not going to be as cloud native, I guess. There is always a debate between what is real cloud native and what is not real cloud native. But they have a little edge in terms of functionality. And products such as Acumatica, the development process is slower, I would say. If you want to develop a product, I don't know how many companies are developing anymore in 2025. It just costs too much money and it's slow process. Acquisition gives you faster access to market, but Acumatica has always been a very, very, very good developer, and they are building all of these capabilities, inside their product, and that's why they are sort of talking about AI, but you don't kind of see AI because they have to meet some of the functional gaps. That is going to help them win these deals, and these are the real tangible things that the customers are going to need. They are going to care for, and they are delivering that the real functionality.
What is so unique about this from your perspective? Because I think that's what you're saying, that it's newsworthy. I was saying it was more, new features that are probably status quo. But I'm asking, what do you think that is newsworthy here, or is it both?
So it's not just about being new, I guess. It's about filling gaps, right? So, for example, let's say if they did not have these capabilities before, they would not be able to win these deals. No way in the hell. And even if they won, then what is going to happen is that most likely the implementation is going to fail. Because things such as when you look at production, orders by build capability, these are not easy functional things to be able to build. They cost a lot of money and effort. So now when they are going to be built as part of the product, that helps in winning some of the deals, the complex deals that Acumatica did not have access to. So, and this is all coming from customers because they would like to see this.
This is what I think is missing here. I think what's missing is talking about the implementation methodology and how we get these customers over the fear to understand these features that we're talking about here. I think that's a bigger subject matter. And I think all the ERP companies and even the consulting transformation companies that we just talked about all have the same problem, that the customers are scared to death. Why would I go down that road about these features when I'm not comfortable with how I'm going to have my company go through these transformations, whether it's small or large? But I think that this change management is never a hot topic. I know Acumatica has a fantastic methodology for implementation.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on that? I mean, fine, these are great features, but I think that the customers, how far are they along? How many releases behind are they? Are these features? I like them, but I'm still worried about the change management. Comments, Thomas or John?
Yeah, they are smaller, they are younger, means they are mandatorily functionally behind the more mature vendors. But then they are quite innovative and fast moving as well. So to me, this release is just a statement, hey, we are getting there. So it's nothing that excites me fundamentally.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my comments, as usual, go back to the AI component here. It's not mentioned on the slide, but they did release a set of new AI-driven features that were a part of this announcement. It's through their AI studio, which is something they had already in place, but they're continuing to put in three things. Number one is automated intelligence, as well as the ability to dialogue with a natural language interface to be able to get answers about the data that is in the system. They've automated the data extraction, which is really good. They automatically find anomalies. They automatically handle some of the exceptions. They have some predictive capabilities in there. So I think that's a positive. The second thing they're doing is using AI to drive automations. Also a great use of AI. And then I think these interactive assistants really is more of a co-pilot, which to me, that's table stakes today. Anybody that has an application needs a co-pilot, and everybody has one. So it's not really any kind of a differentiator. My question to them would be, did you guys buy this or build it? Because there's really amazing automation and intelligence, AI, agentic business intelligence platforms that if you built it, you're probably already a year and a half to 2 years or 3 years behind really good technology because you decided to build it yourself. If you embedded something, it actually, from a marketing perspective, it might be worth saying that you did it, because that tells the customer base that what you're doing in that area of agentic BI within your system or AI driven automations is the latest and greatest. So as usual, I have some comments, and I have more questions probably than comments.
Well, you're an analyst.
Okay, so Robert, do you want to go to next or?
Well, let's do the next one.
Next, okay.
Is there any questions? I don't know if we have any comments. I think we got time.
We don't have any comments right now, so we can just go with some more stories, I guess.
Okay, let's do it. Aisera. I'm not drastically familiar with this company, but I know as we keep on going down the line of developing AI, and expanding their global partner program, it is a major step forward to give them more bandwidth and their customers bandwidth to expand. So just a question, how does this help with their competitive positioning? I guess do they compete with ServiceNow and MoveWorks? This also kind of notes that they're more positioning themselves as a platform first with their expansion of their partners. But what do you guys all think from this perspective?
Yeah, so I will provide some brief here based on how I am seeing this, to be completely honest. So overall, I guess, there's a lot of movement in the market at this point of time. When you talk about the agentic AI capabilities and who's going to do what, everybody's sort of, this is almost like a gold rush, and everybody's trying to rush to that. But there will be some sort of streamlining later on in terms of the architecture, in terms of roles and responsibilities of who will keep these things. So for the most part, when you look at the agentic AI platform play, in my mind, I see this as more of the integration platform play, which is going to be very similar to something like iPaaS, workflow collaboration, the way ServiceNow is positioned. So I find ServiceNow to be natural home for these things. Now, obviously, these consulting companies are trying to build these capabilities as well. They are very similar. So, for example, if you look, pay attention to the logos, you have Brillasoft, Zensar, and also Infosys. And these are all Indian consulting companies. If you compare and contrast this with the previous story that we did with Accenture, and I believe there is another story for Deloitte as well. Deloitte, Accenture, they are trying to build these capabilities by themselves. These guys are trying to utilize the products that are already available. Now that is going to create much tighter alliance. So which is more powerful? I would say this is more powerful than building your own capabilities. The more alliances you have in the market, the superior positioning and the faster access to market you are going to have. So, I personally like this story, to be completely honest.
Well, the judge is still out on whether this is more powerful or not, because what they want to do is what Accenture doesn't need to do is scale. What they need to do is scale. And you can scale only with partnerships. Simple as. And now the challenge is that everybody and their dog is after the same possible partners. And that's why I think the judge is still out on that one. It's the right move. Whether it's powerful, we'll find out next year.
So, Thomas, my understanding of this alignment would be that they will still develop their industry-specific capabilities on these platforms. So rather than building everything from scratch, so the way Accenture and Deloitte, and I don't know, the story does not mention these platforms. Maybe they are using some technical platform underneath as well. Maybe they are not developing everything from scratch. But my understanding is that this is more of a technical platform, and these guys are layering in their industry capabilities and developing their IP.
They are a product company. So product companies need to sell into a client base. They have a sales force that is that big. And if you want to sell faster, you need to have more sales force. Means you need to have partner.
Yep.
Simple as. So this is the game that every software and software platform vendor plays, and their dogs too. And they are all after the same possible partners. So John?
Go ahead.
I was pretty much done.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's a good inflection point for them. If they, their press release says they have 600 users in the partner program. Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty good foundation in a partner program, and a good time to be able to expand the program to be able to include additional partners. So it seems like it's just an awakening for them to get this news out to the market. It's not big news to me. It's partnership news. And it just is a slight shift in their strategy to say, hey, we've arrived. We've got 600. We're going to continue investing. And by the way, if you're out there, let's connect.
So, John, I would not take the partnership number too seriously, to be completely honest. It doesn't mean much. Anybody who's a consultant out there signs for a partnership in the hope that they are going to bring a lot of deals. That's not how the world works, I guess. They might sign 600 today and then nothing happens for 2 years and they kicked out from the partnership program.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
I think we have one question. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. So let's go over that. So I'll read that. So he's saying, Leonard is saying, what is missing here in the Aisera announcement is ROI value. How much is efficiency increased and how much will be saved? My question to this question is going to be, whose ROI are we talking about? Are we talking about ROI for the platform provider or the consulting company or the customer? These three are three different players in the equation, and they have their own interest in terms of what they are trying to do.
I'd say the customer would be the most important, right?
Debatable, I would say.
It's the most important, but the one of least interest to the vendors.
Well, maybe not. I mean, it should be the most interesting if they want.
Yeah, should being the operative word. Yeah,
I think that's what's missing a lot from these vendors. Is who's more important. So, anyway.
So to me, this is all about saying, "Hey, we are there too."
Yeah,
that's basically it. The customer at the end. Now Leonard says it.
He said customer.
Of course, it should be about the customer, but it sadly rarely is.
Yep. Sam, do you want to do another one, or do you want to move on?
So we have one more. So Leonard has clarified customer at the end. But I mean, customers have their own versions of ROI value. If you talk to their team, everybody is going to have their own versions of how much ROI they are looking for. The reality is that everybody cares for their own paychecks, even at the customers. Okay, so Robert, do you want to do one more story? We have 2 minutes right now. I think the only thing we can do is closing thoughts, I guess. So,
yeah, maybe do closing thoughts. I just had a quick question for everybody.
Yeah.
What's most important? Is it the customer or is it the vendor? Or why aren't customers successful right now, or transformation successful? What's the customers? Is it because there's too many tools out there? Is it because they don't know their ROI, which was just mentioned? Or is it because the customers don't have the capabilities? I mean, because something's not moving in the right direction with IT from a implementation perspective. And there's probably another 5 things of, risk, transparency, collaboration. There's a lot of gaps, but Sam, what are you seeing out there? I thought this would be a decent topic to talk about for a minute or two.
Yeah, so in my personal experience, it's all politics. When you have people involved, I mean, there's not much you can do, I guess.
You have 30 seconds, Sam.
And I had one word.
The customer
is a long word.
They're in a fear state right now, and change management isn't being addressed. So, is there too many tools out there to help the customers that they don't know which ones to use? It seems like it's just coming in every different direction. How do we? I
think we're still forcing them to be software engineering companies along with whatever else they do, and it's not working.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a single entity to blame. It's the vendors, it's the buyers, and it's the system integrators. So from a vendor and an SI point of view, they are probably looking too much at the customers as an objective, not as a means, basically, not improving their lives as an objective and being successful because of that. So making the customer successful makes me successful, outside in. That's nothing that most of them are doing. And the other part is that's buyer inside or buyer internal. Yes, there's too much politics. Hey, I've done Salesforce 3 times, it worked, so we are doing it now. And nobody ever got fired, or no CIO ever got fired for choosing IBM. Well, that's the right or the wrong solution. So there's too much politics there, not enough knowledge there, and lots of fear-mongering too.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Robert, if you are too serious about being successful, I guess not everybody is. The best way is to understand the power centers and power struggle, and that's what most seasoned executives, they know this, that there is always going to be politics.
Yeah. I agree. Let's do closing thoughts. Start with John.
My closing thought is AI is here. Jump in, and especially, I think for executives, figure out how to use it yourself, and that will be transformational.
Yeah,
Thomas.
Mine on top of that is make your business case. Don't jump, but jump into the right direction. Because, I mean, what's done right now is mostly small fry stuff. And we had the ROI word. Nobody really provides you ROI numbers or payback numbers. When is the investment written off, or when does the gain intersect with the cost?
Well said, both of you. And I'll piggyback that as well. I think listen to what the customer needs. And it's not based on specific industry. It's based upon their innovation aptitude and their fear. And I think that is a major concern of how they move forward to reap the benefits of AI and what they need to put in place to get that ROI that you both are talking about. Sam?
Yeah, guys, amazing points. And Robert is right that you need to really understand the political game, how the interests are aligned among all of the parties. Technology alone is not going to be enough. So that's going to be my key message from this episode. On that note, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. If you dialed for the first time, this was part of our, not industry analyst Gone Wild series, for which we meet every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. So I'll see you next week, same time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.